Okay, wait. Okay.
Hey everybody, welcome back to The Real in Real Estate with Jennifer and
Melanie.
this week we're going to talk about first-time home buyers.
Yes, so we are spotlighting first-time home buyers and just kind of going over some basic questions in the first, literal first stages you decide you want to buy a house.
So what is a first-time home buyer?
So there's, the general answer to that question is it is someone who's never purchased a home. So a lot of times it's a renter. A lot of times it may be a relationship status change where maybe the husband or the wife, only one of them purchased the home in their name. Sometimes it can be, a widower who needs to, sometimes they even are purchasing their same home they live in, because I've seen that happen before too. Divorce, things like that. So a lot of different life situations, but in general, you are purchasing a home, you've never bought a home before, and you want to know what to do now.
All right, so now that we've decided we're a first-time home buyer, we want to buy a house.
Yeah.
What's the process in buying a house?
So you obviously you want to get connected with a good agent, and really what I would say, I don't like to use the word good and bad, so let's say willing, because a willing agent is going to be willing to work for you and put in the hours, the time, and be available. So you want to choose an agent, and we'll have a further series that kind of goes into more detail about how you make that choice, but in general, they should make you feel comfortable and confident.
And always available. That's why we
Yes.
do
or have someone else available to help you.
Right. You want to be able to find that network. We do a partnership so that our clients, no matter what, because usually on an emotional purchase, you want somebody that's available, someone that can answer even from the simplest question. Can you measure the desk? We weren't able to do it. We have out-of-town clients where we do FaceTime and videos for them so they can see the property because they won't be here in time. So we kind of are able to nix things out. Sometimes, family events are going on. One of us is gone and one of us can cover. So you're always going to be familiar. That's what we like about ours, is that you're not unfamiliar with the person that you're going to talk to, and we both know each other's business.
Yes.
Real estate.
And we know we're both available. So, choosing a good agent. So let's say you've chose your agent, and now what do you do? So oftentimes your agent is likely going to connect you with a lender, maybe a couple lenders, and you will then decide who you want to work with as your lender. Most people are going to need a mortgage to purchase a home, which is just the loan that you take out to buy the property. Oftentimes people want to match their rent if they're renting already, or you have an idea of what you want to pay for your home. So you need to get pre-approved and talk with the lender, because they're going to be the ones who go over your credit scenario and what your interest rate will be. And that is all completely the lender. That is not your real estate agent. So oftentimes I see this happen where clients will ask me a lot of questions that are not for me. So I will direct them to the lender. So I think you always want to have both of those conversations, getting a good agent and a good lender that you feel comfortable and competent with.
And a lot of times the relationship that Mel and I have is that we can talk to the lender and make sure that we know that actually the limitations or the qualifications of that, because they don't tell us the personal stuff. They're just saying, okay, yes, they can afford this, and then we're not wasting their time or getting their hopes up on a property that they can or cannot afford.
Absolutely. Because unfortunately, sometimes you do have it's just really good to have that working relationship with your agent and the lender, because I've had times where a client has wanted to see homes well beyond their budget, and the lender had already told me that they couldn't afford it. So I have to have that tough conversation. However, it does save both myself and, even if the client is a little upset, them time, because they're not going to fall in love with something that they can't buy.
And also, don't be afraid to be a lender. Sometimes I've found that people are afraid to borrow money when they're qualified to borrow money. When it comes to buying the home, and once an offer, which will be talked about later, is made, as long as the seller gets their money, it doesn't matter which bank it comes from, which credit union it comes from. So don't let that stop you in your process.
Because I have seen people have like an allegiance to a certain bank, which I just want to remind people that the bank is in business for the bank. It's not in business for you. So it doesn't matter who you use. It does in the sense of that you want to use a competent lender. And usually your agent will have those connections of people that they trust. But, don't feel like just because you've been a member of whatever credit union for 20 years that you have to use them. Because unfortunately, in my experience has been a lot of the times the 9 to 5 banking hours, that's what those lenders work, and that can make it difficult. I say you need to, just like you have an agent who is available, you need to find a lender who is available, because they do make a difference. Like I know on mine and Jen's deal, we always have the lender call the agent when we're negotiating. I couldn't do that with a credit union mortgage loan officer because they would not be available to do that. I've had that experience in the past. So that's just kind of an example. Yes, it makes a difference who your lender is. There's different loan programs, which are really simple. I'll just go over the kind of quick ones that you may hear. VA, that's going to be for our military veterans or active duty military. There is the USDA loan, that's for rural, country, those type of properties. You have to look on their website to know exactly if you're eligible for that in your area, but your lender will tell you that. If you're looking in urban areas, you are not, just so you know. And then there are the FHA, which is very popular. That's one of the most popular, which is just the Fair Housing Authority loan. So that's, they have lots of options, but they're a little bit, most of the time if you have your credit maybe is just starting, there's lots of more leniency on an FHA loan, which is where I just want you to know as a buyer, just because you maybe don't have a lot of credit doesn't mean you can't qualify for a home. Exactly. So, and then there are conventional loans, which conventional is a great option, which does have a little bit higher limits. There's jumbo loans if you're looking at the more expensive properties. I think there's even super jumbo. There's quite a few. Yeah. But the most common ones are going to be VA, USDA, FHA, and conventional. That's what majority of the buyers are using in the market.
And actually everywhere around the country, since this is going around the country, you'd be surprised some of those agricultural loans
sometimes they're close to the city.
Yeah, very close, because I found out just recently there's one that I didn't know was agricultural. So the person could qualify for $25,000 more in their loan just for going 25 miles south of where they thought they were going to go, and it wasn't that big of a deal. So they qualified for more. So
and USDA programs are no money down program.
Yeah.
So it's a really good option.
It is.
And like Jennifer said, the area I used to live in Florida, 15 minutes from downtown was a USDA area. So sometimes it's not that clear. That's why I say look on your neighborhood, but you're on the USDA website.
So now that we've gotten your loan, we've gotten you pre-approved, now gets the fun part. We're going to get to the nitty-gritty of what you want. What are your must-have, your needs? Why do we have that discussion?
Well, we want to know what is most important for your budget, because majority of buyers are not going to be able to get everything they want. They're going to,
especially on the first time.
So we do have to remember that what is the most important. So, for example, maybe a master suite is a must. You have to have your own bathroom. So maybe you said you wanted 4 bedrooms, but then I ask you, well, which is more important, a master suite or 4 bedrooms? And you have to decide. So that's kind of the difference,
And another one is right now in the circumstances that we find ourselves in, a lot of people are working at home. So they need that other room as an office. A lot of things are happening, just like us.
And that is
our Zoom, and you can't be close to each other. So there is the fact that people are actually moving to homes that have that additional room that they can use as an office because they find themselves in a situation where they are going to be home more often.
Right. So that's what's important, to narrow those down, because we want to know what the most important things are and what the bonus items are, so that we can find you the great home that meets most of your needs and has a good balance.
Right.
Obviously all of your needs if we can.
Yeah.
So
we try to do that.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what you're going to do from there. Is once we've narrowed down everything that you want, your must-haves, the areas you want to live, then we're going to start what I think is the fun part, because you're already pre-approved, you know what you can afford, and you have buying power because you have your pre-approval in hand. Because That's another reason you want to get pre-approved. You don't want to go and look at a house and then it's a bidding war and you have a deadline and you're not pre-approved and you have to go and rush and send all your documents and try to get pre-approved quickly so that you can try to get that house.
And sometimes our lenders aren't real happy with us when we do that.
Yeah.
On a Saturday night when they want to be out with their wife on a date.
So yeah,
pre-approval works better. Yeah.
Let's do it ahead of time.
Yeah.
So now we're at the fun part, which we're going to go ahead and pause there for this week. But next week we're going to talk about showings and touring and what that means as a first-time home buyer and kind of what you should look out for while you're doing that. So
we're going to go see showings, talk about touring on the real in real estate.
So thanks, guys.
Thanks, Sam.
Again, check out our channels below. Comment any questions. We're happy to answer.
Please do.
Cut! God. Okay, that's just going to have to be good enough. This is how I feel about all of them right now.